Hey gamers! If you enjoy isometric Soulslike games, then you've come to the right place. In this video, I'll show you best isometric Soulslike games that you should play. Some of you maybe disagree with the ranking, and that's okay. All I know, this game is a must-play for Soulslike fan. Alright then, without further ado, let's get started. Unsouled is a 2D action RPG created by South Korean studio Megusta Games. Players take the role of a fallen kingdom's prince, seeking to avenge his people against an enemy known as Amu, who has the ability to raise the dead. Unsouled provides an intense and engaging combat experience that will keep players wanting more. The combat is a complete triumph, drawing clear inspiration from Bloodborne and Sekiro while creating its own unique identity. The chain-based slashing attacks, parries, and counters combine to form a captivating death dance that Souls-like veterans will recognize. Morbid: The Seven Acolytes is a Souls-like action RPG that freely acknowledges its influences. Set in the dark, horrific land of Mornia, you play as the last Shriver, a strong warrior tasked with battle monster beasts and demonic acolytes unleashed by a deadly disease. The gameplay is difficult and cruel, as one would expect from a Souls-style game. Your character, the last Shriver, is capable but weak, and fighting relies on stamina, making each confrontation more strategic. And for this game, don't expect the same depth as its higher-budget counterparts. Unsighted is an action-packed RPG with co-op gameplay to team up with your friends. In Unsighted, you play Alma. Your mission is to travel across the land of Arcadia. The game offers a diverse combat system that includes guns, swords, and shurikens. You can't simply spam attacks. You have to be cautious, especially when fighting bosses. In addition to combat, the game includes puzzles that you must solve. One puzzle requires finding a solution in a room with several symbols on the floor. These challenges deepen the gameplay, emphasizing exploration and problem solving. Loot River is a Souls-like game that combines elements of roguelike with addictive puzzle platforming gameplay. The game's unique mechanic, which involves shifting multi-shaped platforms to navigate through the procedurally generated levels, adds a fresh and engaging twist to the familiar Souls-like formula. As well as the Souls-like combat, the combat is punishing but rewarding, with well-timed parries and powerful counterattacks being crucial to survival. Progression comes not from leveling up stats like in Souls games, but from unlocking better gear using a currency dropped by enemies. You'll have to get lucky with weapon and armor drops to really amp up your power on each run. Weird RPG is an action RPG game that features a unique blend of fantasy and post-apocalyptic elements, with the player character traversing across dimensions. The game offers unique, entertaining ideas, such as voice-activated attacks and items that get stronger based on your PC's graphics card performance. The combat requires precise timing and streamlined builds, as even the smallest allocation of stats into a useless skill can gimp your character. Thankfully, the unconventional loot system allows you to gain advantages by screaming profanities into your mic or intentionally capping your frame rate. It adds a refreshingly weird risk and reward layer to the genre. Sands of Aura is challenging action RPG that takes heavy inspiration from the brutal Soulsborne games. At its core, with Souls-like formula, punishing combat, checkpoints that act as bonfires, and a healing system that forces you to manage your resources carefully. The game also includes crafting, PvE gameplay, and a single-player mode. Players can engage with a variety of characters and make decisions that impact the story and their fate, as well as the fate of others. Not only that, the symphonic soundtrack and the open-world sand sailing experience have also been highlighted as notable aspects of the game. Achilles Legends Untold takes the challenging Souls-like combat formula and transports it to the mythical world of ancient Greece. The core combat feels similar to a Souls game, deliberate, punishing, but immensely satisfying when you finally defeat a tough enemy. The skill tree in the game enhances the combat system, providing players with the opportunity to personalize their characters and gain access to fresh abilities as they advance in the game. Although the game's missions may become repetitive, the thrill of facing formidable enemies and discovering the expansive open world makes up for it. Alaloth Champions of the Four Kingdoms is a nostalgic RPG inspired by classic fantasy games. The isometric perspective creates stunningly detailed environments, with each of the four kingdoms having its own unique visual identity. Smooth combat animations and challenging difficulty levels capture the essence of the genre, where players must tactfully balance their health, stamina, and companions to survive tough battles. The immersive world-building in Alaloth is truly exceptional. There is a sense of fulfillment in exploring the different biomes and interacting with the inhabitants, even if the overall impact on the story is somewhat limited. There Is No Light stands out as a grim and highly stylish game that offers a challenging experience reminiscent of the Souls series. The game's story takes place in a world where the entire human population has been eradicated by a global catastrophe. Players must battle against demonic forces to bring order to the world or become the herald of its destruction. Enemies in the game have 3 different types of attacks, each designated with a colorful marker above their head, which players must learn to recognize and counter in order to succeed. This makes combat fast-paced and brutal, with players needing to stay focused and make split-second decisions to avoid taking damage. Eldest Souls is a boss rush action game that wears its From Software influences with satisfying combat, gorgeous pixel art, and a unique skill tree system. The game features 10 challenging bosses, each with their own distinct designs and attack patterns, encouraging players to learn and adapt in order to emerge victorious. The combat is fast-paced and aggressive, like Bloodborne, with a focus on dodging, parrying, and dealing damage to replenish health. While light on exploration compared to a full-fledged Souls game, Eldest Souls makes up for it with an incredibly Moorish gameplay loop centered around mastering each boss's moveset through study and iteration. Curse of the Dead Gods is a new roguelike action game with Mesoamerican horror elements. Feels like a more challenging Hades for anyone who loved Bloodborne. The game follows the story of Sir Caradog McAllister, a greedy adventurer who is cursed to explore a shifting labyrinth filled with hordes of enemies and deadly traps. The game's difficulty can be brutal, but it also makes for a thrilling experience, especially when the timing of every parry and dodge is crucial to survival. I know this is an action roguelike game, but overall, Curse of the Dead Gods is a challenging and rewarding game that fans of Souls-like games will enjoy. Death's Door is an isometric action-adventure RPG with its exploration and dungeon puzzles. The premise is simple yet captivating. Work for the Reaping Commission to harvest the soul of a powerful monster. The gameplay of Death's Door involves utilizing melee weapons, arrows, and magic to overcome a fantastic array of beasts and demigods in the Underrealm. To open Death's Door, you'll need to find 3 powerful souls through challenging boss fights. Even after finishing the main story, the allure of uncovering every secret will keep you playing, and the post-game content was a delightful surprise. Tunic looks like a cute and colorful adventure similar to The Legend of Zelda. Tunic also draws frequent comparisons to the Dark Souls series and other Souls-like games. Any Souls-like veteran should be able to spot a number of familiar features in Tunic. Resting at healing shrines restores the player's health. The game has Estus Flask-like healing consumables, and death respawns defeated enemies. Being defeated leaves behind a ghost at that location for players to recover lost currency. Blocking and dodging consume stamina. The game's unique take on the Souls-like formula has resonated with players, making it a standout indie gem. Hyper Light Drifter is probably the least Souls-like entry on this list, but its similarity to From Software's series comes not just from its similar approach to combat. It extends to the non-linear nature of its game world, full of obscurely hidden paths, shortcuts, and hidden areas. It's a world full of danger, make no mistake, but you can tackle these challenges as you see fit thanks to the open nature of its map, which gives it a very Souls-like feel. You play as a drifter, a traveler seeking forgotten knowledge and a cure for a mysterious illness. This indie gem a brilliantly merciless adventure to enjoy if it has somehow passed you by over the years. No Rest for the Wicked, an early access Souls-like action RPG, presents a compelling mix of combat, exploration, and RPG elements. Unlike traditional hack-and-slash isometric games such as Diablo, players must master dodging, parrying, and tactically employing limited combat abilities to vanquish enemies. The game's character creation system allows for extensive customization, enabling players to equip various weapons, armor, and abilities without being confined to rigid classes. Healing items, known as souls, are scarce and necessitate crafting from materials, compelling players to revisit and grind for supplies periodically. And that's it for today. What do you think about this list? I know there are amazing best isometric Souls-like games out there that I haven't mentioned yet. Please share which one you're most excited about in the sections below. Don't forget to like this video, and make sure you subscribe this channel if you don't want to miss another amazing list. And as always, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.